The silent treatment feels like nothing is happening, but it's one of the most damaging patterns in relationships. Research from the Gottman Institute shows that nearly 67% of couples report experiencing it. What looks like silence is actually a form of stonewalling, a way to punish a partner and exert coercive control. I'm Jourdantravers, a licensed psychotherapist, and after working with countless couples, I've seen how this pattern slowly destroys connection. And today, I'll show you why it happens, and more importantly, how to break it before it breaks you. Back in 1998, 3 researchers decided to investigate what silent treatment actually does to people. They didn't start with a theory, they started with real experiences. They asked groups of college students to recall moments when they had either given or received the silent treatment. What exactly happened, the students were asked, and how did it make you feel? The answers were strikingly consistent. People didn't just say, "we stopped talking." They described concrete behaviors like avoiding eye contact, deliberately withholding words, or pretending the other person wasn't even there. When researchers coded those responses, a pattern emerged. Silence wasn't passive at all. It was an active punishment. Most of the time, it was delivered in social settings, ignoring someone right in front of others, making it even more painful. And the feelings, they weren't random. They mapped perfectly onto what psychologist Kip Williams later called the model of ostracism. Silent treatment threatens 4 of our deepest psychological needs: belonging, self-esteem, control, and the sense that our existence matters. Think about that. Just by withholding words or eye contact, a partner can make you question whether you belong, whether you're valued, whether you have any control, even whether you matter at all. Even more fascinating, the study found that when people gave the silent treatment, it didn't actually strengthen their sense of belonging. In fact, it weakened it. They might have felt a fleeting sense of control, but at the cost of connection and self-esteem. In other words, silent treatment damages both sides of the relationship, not just the person receiving it. But that's not all. Silent treatment is also damaging to physical health. Fast forward to 2016, another study. This one tracked married couples, not for a few months or years, but over 2 decades. Researchers Claudia Haase and her colleagues wanted to know, when couples argue, do the emotions they display actually shape their health years down the road? So they invited 156 long-term married couples into a lab. Each couple sat across from each other and had a 15-minute conflict conversation, the kind every couple knows too well. Cameras recorded every frown, every crossed arm, every stiff silence. Trained coders analyzed these interactions second by second, looking for specific emotional behaviors like anger, sadness, or stonewalling. Then the researchers did something remarkable. They didn't just stop at one snapshot in time. They followed these same couples for 20 years, checking it again and again, tracking not only their marital quality, but their physical health. What they found was striking. Husbands who showed more anger during those conflict talks weren't just having rocky conversations. Over the years, they developed significantly more cardiovascular problems: chest pain, racing heart, high blood pressure. The body carried the anger long after the words faded. And husbands who stonewalled, shutting down, going rigid, tuning out their wives, they paid a different price. Over time, they developed more musculoskeletal problems: back pain, stiff joints, tension in muscles. The silence and withdrawal showed up not only in their marriages, but in their bodies. The pattern was so specific, it almost felt like a map: anger to heart problems and stonewalling to muscle and back problems. It wasn't random stress. It was the body registering decade after decade how conflict was handled. Silent treatment and stonewalling aren't just destructive to intimacy. Left unchecked, they etch themselves into the body, showing up as pain and illness years later. If you've ever been on the receiving end of the silent treatment, you know how disorienting it feels. You want to fix things, but the more you push, the colder it gets. So how do you handle it without losing yourself or escalating the cycle? First, stop chasing the silence. Your first instinct is usually to break through, to plead, to explain, to beg for dialogue. But chasing only reinforces the dynamic, giving more power to the person withholding. Instead, pause, step back, and center yourself before you engage. Number 2, name what's happening calmly. Silence thrives in ambiguity. Gently naming it can strip it of its power. You might say, I feel shut out right now and it's painful. I want to understand what's going on, but I can't if we're not talking. This brings the behavior into the open without shaming. Number 3, set boundaries on how long silence lasts. One of the most dangerous parts of silent treatment is its endlessness. Suggest a timeout instead of indefinite withdrawal. For example, it seems like things are heated. Let's take a break for an hour and then come back to talk. Boundaries prevent silence from turning into punishment. Number 4, shift from blame to needs. Researcher Sarah Rosenthaler recommends the RAND process. Write down what you resent, what you appreciate, and what you need. This exercise helps you approach the other person less reactively and more from a place of clarity. Often what we need is recognition, safety, or even a simple apology. Number 5, recognize when it's manipulation. There's a difference between taking a cooling off break and weaponizing silence. If the pattern is chronic, if it's used to punish, shame, or control, then this isn't conflict management. It's emotional abuse. In that case, the healthiest response may be to seek help from a therapist, or if needed, to protect yourself by stepping away. I'm Jourdan Travers. I'm the clinical director of Awake Therapy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.